Now that I've done one leg, I'm going to go across and do the other, and then we'll worry about the tail and the cloaca. So I've cut somewhere, whether it's because the bird had trauma or I made a miscut. I've cut into the body cavity a little bit. I'm not into the coelom, but I'm definitely not against the skin, so I'm trying to clean that up a little bit. Like that is a membrane that, see, I've got a lot of blood. So somewhere along the line, something opened up in the wrong way. And that might not be me. Like, that might be the bird itself. This might be where it injured itself. The muscle should come cleanly like this most of the time. Not as bloody and messy as this is. Ugh. So the last one I broke the bone first. This time I'm going to cut first and see if I can keep a little bit more bone. I can break the bone a little bit higher. And have more of a bone sticking out that time. This bone, something I didn't do on the last one because I'm trying to get this video not super long, but frequently, like, there's marrow coming out of the bone there. There's marrow. So you might take a probe and stick it down into that bone and clean up some of the marrow that's in there. Because you don't want anything that is going to spoil. So this is a bent probe, but if I have a pointy probe, I can and like get as much of the blood out of the marrow as possible. And I'm gonna come back and finish this later because I don't want this video being too long. But again, if I had some cotton, I'd wrap the cotton around. It gives the leg a little bit of body as well as protecting it, the skin. But I'm gonna have to come back and clean that up a little bit better. But it gets those legs out of the way so that I can then work on the tail, which is a difficult part because you want the tail feathers, you want to keep the tail feathers with your skin, with your study skin. But the tail feathers are attached to the pygostyle or pygostyle, which is that last bone. Oh, I haven't been too careful because I've ripped the skin here. I didn't mean to do that. That means I'm going to have to sew that back up later. That's frustrating. Should have been more careful. See here? Here it's one piece, and here I've torn it. And it's fine. It just is something I'm going to have to sew back up. I do not do this for a living. I only do a couple of study skins a year, maybe. So I'm not an expert at it. Someone who does museum specimens for a living, theirs would be much tidier probably. They'd have a better go at it. But we can tell we're at the cloaca here. And working my way around the back. You want to cut so that the pygostyle stays, like the bone of the pygostyle stays on your study skin. But you also don't want to leave any tissue in there. I'm just cutting, I don't know if you guys can see very well, I'm just cutting the membrane. It goes a little bit faster when you cut it rather than pull it. Birds have fairly thin skin. This is a fairly easy process on birds. Doing this on mammals, sometimes you need to scrape and cut because the skin is a little bit better attached. Yeah, there was definitely trauma here. I've gone all the way around, and I'm going to keep going up the back a little bit, give me some space, and down. Oh, and you can see the feathers coming through the skin here, so I have to be gentle. I don't want to lose any of the feathers. So you can see the fluid that is in that body cavity. This is why it's important not to break through that body cavity. You can see it's full of fluid. And I will eventually break it open for my zoology class. Always nervous about this part. It doesn't matter how many times I've done this. I'm always nervous about cutting around the tail and the cloaca. Letting gravity help you is a trick that I was taught. Okay, so I've hit the pygostyle. I'm going to lose my tail feathers if I go too far. So I'm going to cut around that cloaca. Through the vertebra. So again, I now have some flesh back here that I'm going to have to deal with. So here's the skin. I cut through, I did a bad job. I cut through the skin and I have a lot of flesh left on my tail. A good job, this would all be connected and it would be like inside out like that leg was. It would look like this leg. But I have done a bad job. And I'll have to come back and clean out this flesh because you can't leave this meat in the specimen. It'll go bad. So, but for the sake of teaching, I'm going to come back to that after and finish my specimen. Why does it pull away there? I can smell the urpigeal gland. I think maybe I need to do these wings. There's a bubble there. Not want to pull away from the bird here, but after messing up the tail, I'm nervous. Using the blunt end. Oh, see, I cut the skin there. Super fragile. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with this. Okay. Humerus. Push humerus through. wondering if this is just a weird bird or if I'm doing something horribly wrong. Oh, I've got a bunch of meat stuck there. That's okay. I think this lady broke her wing bone in her crash. And that might be why this is causing me grief. Wings aren't easy, but they're usually easier than this. So weird, I'm going to cut through the skin again. I've never had this much trouble. Okay. So this is the humerus, and again you break or cut through the humerus depending on the bird. You can break it with your hands, or you can put it against the edge of the table. Works really well. I'm going to try against the edge of this. No, it doesn't want to go. Oh, there we go. You want a large enough piece on this side that you can tie it to the other wing on the other side. You can see here the humerus is pneumaticized, so it doesn't have blood in it, it has air in it. Now the problem is we now are at the part of the arm bone that has the feathers, the secondary feathers attached. So you can't pull all of them out. You have to sort of pull part of it out gently and then pull the meat off. There are different ways of doing this. Some people just strip them right off the ulna. Some people leave the ulna in place. But the important part is, depending on the size of the bird, like a little sparrow, there's hardly any meat in there, it'll dry up. But a large grouse like there, this is a lot of meat. I have to clean that up somehow. While I get on with the rest of the bird, I'm going to cover this with cotton, paper towel again, so it's out of the way while I get the other wing free. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Why are you being so hard today? So again, I need to break that humerus. Having trouble breaking this one, so I've got bone shears. Usually I can just break it though. And again, I'm going to wrap this and deal with it later because I'm going to run out of battery. And we still have the head to do. You can really see the trachea full of blood. Oh crap. Speaking of which, I didn't initially put gauze in her mouth, but I think now is the time, because I don't want blood coming up and getting her totally covered in blood everywhere while I'm trying to pull the skin off her head here. See how easy this is? This is how it usually is. I don't know why the wings are giving me so much trouble. So in some bird species, woodpeckers are in particular, the neck is narrower than the head, and this becomes very difficult. This is not as easy on some birds as others. You get to an ear hole and then an eye hole, and so you need to cut around those ear and eye holes. Yes, birds have ear holes. You can't really see them, but they're there. Maybe I should show you guys a video of that in lecture, in lab, because it's pretty cool. You can pull their feathers aside and they've got like a hole in their head. Just like you'd expect a mammal to have a hole. But it looks pretty neat, because you weren't really expecting it in a bird. So with the ear holes, it's pretty easy just to cut around, and then there's like a hole. See, hole, that's the ear hole. And here you can see the ear hole into the inner ear. Ear hole in this feather skin, ear hole in the body cavity. It's pretty easy to cut around. The eyes are a little harder.